Hey everybody, I'm Eric, and this is AreYouMadYet. If you're new here, this is where I pick a topic of current event and give my take on it in the hopes of spurring conversation and getting people to think outside the box and consider things that they may not have considered on the particular topic at hand. And today I'm going to talk about the fiasco that is the Kavanaugh hearings. At the point of recording this particular video, there have been 3 women who have accused Kavanaugh of sexual impropriety. One unnamed, and one by the name of Ford, one by the name of Ramirez, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if that's not her name. But let's start with Ford. Feinstein had these accusations, had this letter from this source, from Ford, and held on to it for over 2 months. And literally at the 11th hour, waited until the last possible conceivable minute to bring forth this accusation from this woman. And the details are so vague that it seems like she just grabbed bits and pieces and just threw it together. It's like she just picked a year, picked a place, and picked 3 or 4 people that she knew and just crafted this story. She claims that it might have been at a party, but she doesn't remember. She claims that there were 2 to 3 to 4 people present. None of these other people remember this event actually happening. One of the people who initially corroborated her story recanted that corroboration once she realized that she would have to validate and defend her corroboration on national TV, and including maybe even possibly the Senate. She didn't want to do that, so she completely recanted the whole thing. Supposedly at a party, supposedly in 1982, all of these things that she herself has admitted she's not even sure about. The only thing she is presumably sure about is the fact that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her. That's it. She doesn't remember a place. She doesn't concretely remember a place. She doesn't concretely remember when, where, any of that. And all of the people that she named that would corroborate her story have completely refused to do so, with the exception of one person, and then they later recanted. And then you have Ramirez, whose story sounds just as pieced together as Ford's story does, and nobody will corroborate her story either. And then you have the client of Michael Avenatti. If you don't know who Michael Avenatti is, he is the lawyer of Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels has accused Trump of certain improprieties as well. And his client hasn't really come out with a lot of details about her accusation. I don't even know her name. I don't even think that's come out yet. Let's say your husband, your father, your son, your brother is up for a job, the highest position in his chosen occupation, and he's going through the vetting process for this job, and just when it seems like he's about to get the job, it seems that, the vetting process is just merely a formality, because that's what these hearings are for Kavanaugh, just a formality. And so he's going through this formality, and just when it seems that he's about to be cleared for this job, a woman shows up and accuses him of sexual assault, and gives very vague details that she herself admits she doesn't accurately recollect. The only thing that she can accurately recollect is that the sexual assault happened. And it happened potentially years ago. Again, potentially, because she doesn't even accurately recall when it actually happened. Think about that. I would think that you would question her story, given the vague details and the lack of corroboration and the lack of evidence to back up her accusation. Which flies in the face of this mentality that we have to believe a woman who accuses a man of sexual assault, rape, and based on that accusation, they're guilty. That's it. They're guilty, and then the accused has to prove their innocence, has to prove that the woman is lying. That's not how it works here in the United States. The innocent is presumed innocent. The accused is presumed innocent until the accuser proves otherwise. The accusation is not merely believed simply because the accusation is made. That's not how it works. And yet, that is what we're expected to do. That's what those in the Me Too movement are demanding. That when a woman makes these accusations, that the man is automatically presumed guilty until proven otherwise. Which flies completely in the face of everything our justice system stands for. Every bit of it. Now imagine your father, your husband, your son, your brother being accused under those circumstances. Would you automatically believe the woman making the accusation? Because some of you are doing exactly that when it comes to Kavanaugh. You're believing the accusation as concrete and as evidence of guilt, flat out, simply on the accusation. But you wouldn't do that if it was your father. You wouldn't do that if it was your son. You wouldn't do that if it was your brother or your husband. Yet that's exactly what you're doing when it comes to Kavanaugh. That's a double standard. That's called selective moral outrage, and it's hypocritical. Now, that does not mean that Kavanaugh is innocent, by no stretch of the imagination. It does mean that he's not presumed guilty simply because somebody says he is. And if you're not willing to give the same benefit of the doubt to Kavanaugh as you would your husband, your brother, your son, or your father in the same position, under the same circumstances, you're being a hypocrite. And you're not applying the same standard based solely on your own bias. And that is not how we do things in the United States. It's just not. And I really think we need to take a step back and say, you know what, I may not like Kavanaugh. I may not think that he is the right person for a Supreme Court bench. And you're entitled to that. Fine. But he is a U.S. citizen, and he is afforded equal treatment under the law. He is afforded equal protections under the law. He is afforded innocent until proven guilty, whether you like him or not. And simply because a woman accuses another man of sexual impropriety or a sexual crime, that does not equal automatic guilt. Should the accusation be taken seriously as a potential crime? Absolutely. Should it be considered an absolute proof of guilt simply based on the accusation? Absolutely not. But that's my take on it. What's yours? Leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the bell button for notifications. If you want me to cover a different topic, leave that in the comments as well. And until my next video, I will see you later.